Welcome back to my channel. I'll be reading another section today from Chapter 8, Section 8b. It describes the retaliatory expedition in retribution for the attack by the Finns and Magyars 80 years after their settlement in Scandinavia at wiki.oeralinda.org, where you'll find the Oera Linda wiki that contains English translations by Sandbach and Jan Ott. The Ott translation is currently in revision and will be completed sometime mid-year. Some of the names I'll be pronouncing a little bit differently than maybe people have heard them before. According to my interpretation of the spelling of Wodin, for example, the pronunciation should not be Wodin, but rather Wodin. And I'll attempt to pronounce personal and place names as they're spelled in the Freyas. Also, this is not meant to be an artistic reading of the text. This is not an audiobook, but just to help people stay abreast of the latest developments in our editorial process and hopefully bring some more eyes into the project. Wodin and the Magos. From this expedition, the history of Wodin was born, as inscribed at the Burgs and written here. At the Alderga mouth, a former sea king had taken his retirement. Sterrik was his name, and the renown of his deeds was great. This old sea dog had 3 young kinsmen. Wodin, the eldest, lived at Lumkomokkia, near the Ems mouth, in East Fleeland with his parents. He had once been an army leader. Taunis and Inka were sea warriors, and at the time they were staying at the home of their uncle by the Alderga mouth. When the young warriors had assembled, they chose Wodin as their army leader, or king. The sea warriors chose Taunis as their sea king, and Inka as their watch by night. The fleet then sailed to the Danemarks, where they took on board Wodin and his brave army. The wind was fair, and so they shortly arrived at Skaneland. When the northern brothers had joined him, Wodin divided his powerful army into 3. Freya was their war cry, and thus he drove back the Finns and Magyars as if they were children. When the Magos heard how his men were all being slain, he sent messengers with scepter and crown. They said to Wodin, "O you, greatest of all kings, we are guilty, but all that we have done was done from necessity. You believe that we took on your brothers willingly, but we were whipped forth by our enemies, who are still at our heels. We have often asked aid of your Burgmaid, but she ignored us. The Magos says that if we persist in fighting and killing one another, the wild herdsmen will come and kill us all. The Magos possesses great riches, but he has seen that Freya is more powerful than all our spirits combined. He wishes to lay his head down in her lap. You are the most heroic king on earth. Your folk are of iron. Become our king, and we shall willingly be your slaves. What an honor it would be for you if you could drive back the savages. Our trumpets would resound with the tidings, and our praise would precede you everywhere." Wodin was strong, fierce, and heroic, but he was not clear-sighted. He was thus ensnared and crowned by the Magos. Quite a few steersmen and warriors who disapproved of this left quietly, taking Kot with them. But Kot, who did not want to face either the mother or the General Assembly, jumped overboard. Then a storm arose and dashed the ships upon the Danemark shores, not sparing a single man. Later, this strait was named Kattegat. After Wodin was crowned, he attacked the savages, who were all horsemen, and charged down on Wodin's troops like a hailstorm. But like a whirlwind they turned back, and did not dare show themselves again. When Wodin returned, the Magos gave him his daughter to wife. He was then incensed with herbs, but among them were magic herbs, and Wodin gradually became so audacious that he dared to disavow and ridicule Freya and Varalda's spirit while he bent his free neck before images of false gods. His reign lasted 7 years, and then he disappeared. The Magos said that he had been taken up amongst their gods, and that he ruled over them from there. But our folk laughed at his words. When Wodin had been gone for a time, disputes arose. We wished to choose another king, but the Magos would not allow it. He claimed that it was his right, given him by his gods. Beyond this dispute, there was yet another quarrel among his own Magyars and Finns, who would honor neither Freya nor Wodin. But the Magos did as he pleased, because his daughter had borne a son by Wodin, and the Magos now declared this son to be of high descent. While all were nagging and quarreling, he crowned the boy king, and installed himself as his guardian, representative, and counselor. Those who prized a full belly above justice let him have his way, but the good men left. Many Magyars fled with their people towards their homeland, and the steersman took ship, accompanied by an army of daring Finns as oarsmen.